All right. I am so glad you guys are here today on Wednesday. It's been a long summer. It's been a busy summer. So I do see a lot of faces that I've seen at our other zoo visits. So I'm excited to show you my critters for this time. Now, all summer we've been talking about tails. And today I have 3 more animals with tails. One of them is a little tiny tail, and one of them has a much longer tail, and one of them looks like her entire body could be a tail, but it's not. So I think I'm going to start off with, let's start off with our cute little one who's a little short stubby tail. So I'm going to reach in here. She is a mammal, but sometimes people get confused because she doesn't quite look like a mammal. Because she kind of has armor. Well, no, she doesn't kind of have armor. She does have armor. Her name is Ella. And she... What is she? An armadillo! So she is a 3-banded armadillo. And this is as big as she is going to get. So Ella is full grown. Now this is not the armadillo we have in Texas. Does anybody know what type of armadillo we have in Texas? So when everybody think, because some of you might know the answer, you might just need a little bit of time to think about it. Do you know what armadillo we have in Texas? Some of you may not know, and that is okay. Some of you may have known, but you have forgotten. Some of you may go, we have armadillos in Texas? Now what's falling out is we have shavings that are falling out. Do you know what armadillo we have in Texas? Oh, 6-banded, you are very close. If you add 3-banded and 6-banded, what do you get? 9-banded. We have a 9-banded armadillo in Texas, and it is actually one of our state symbols. It is our state small mammal. Now you know one of our state symbols. So one of our state symbols is the 9-banded armadillo. So Ella here is, like I said, she is full grown. She is one of our only armadillos that can actually curl up into a ball. You always see the cartoons where the armadillos are curling up into a ball. But 3-banded are the only ones that can actually do that. And she does it when she is scared. So I always get the question, can you make her curl up into a ball? Do I want to make her feel scared? No, I don't want to make her feel scared. So she's just going to sit here, right here, holding onto my hand. And she might be one that we get to touch. It depends on if she decides she wants to come out. But she has a little tiny tail. You can see her little tail here. And what's cool with her, when she does curl up into a ball, she makes a little puzzle piece. What she'll do is her head and her tail fit like a little puzzle. Oh, she's telling me she's done. They fit like a little puzzle and go click. And she has a little tiny tail right there. And she is really, really, really good at digging. Now, I don't know. I'm going to put her on the ground. We'll see if she runs. So those of you in the back, you might need to stand up, we'll see. And we'll see if I can hobble up with her. I have a little hobbly leg. She may not move. She runs like a little tank.
It looks like she's tiptoeing.
They do. They walk on their tiptoes. I am not going to let her go past this little blue line, so you are safe. You are safe. I'll put her back here and we'll see if she'll move a little more. They do. They are tiptoe walkers. They walk on their little claws. And they are really good at running. There she goes. She looks like a little tank when she runs. Like a little pill bug. So if she gets scared, she'll go click. And she clicks up into a ball.
She wants to come out with me.
But she gets to live at the zoo. All right. So she has these cool claws at the front for digging. And she... Oh, yeah. Everybody sit down and get back to our spots. All right. I'm going to put Miss Ella back.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Let's see. Let's see. Our next animal... I think I'm going to bring out our animal that sometimes can look like a giant tail. A snake. Now this snake, she is super cool. Her name is Sarabi. And she is a sand boa. So, what do you think she is very good at doing? Hiding in the sand. So, sand boa is actually really cool. Look at her. So, her tail, these are some of the coolest little animals. So, she has this, actually her tail is about this big. Her tail is about the size of the tip of my pinky. She has this short little stubby tail. And she has a little nose that helps her dig. It's almost like shovel shaped. So it helps her dig and dig and dig. And her scales are really, really tiny. So she can get through the sand. And they have little tiny eyes on the top of their head. And she is one that when we get to touch our animals at the end, I'll have her enclosure open so you can see her digging. She might dig. Do you have a question about her? She is not venomous. So she is not one of our venomous ones. She is one of our very well-fed animals. Yes, sir. Okay, so we got her from another zoo. She came to us from another zoo. I see her question. She does have little tiny teeth. She has little tiny teeth. So what she'll do is she will wait underneath the sand for something to go across the top of the sand, and then she reaches out and grabs it. So her eyes are on the top of her head. They can kind of have a little, like, goofy little face. If you look up sand boas, there's one sand boa that's really goofy looking, but they're so adorable. Do you have a question? What is your question? Is it good? All snakes can be helpful to the environment. There are some snakes, though, that we want to stay away with. We always say if you see a snake out in the wild, you want to stay away from it. So snakes are helpful in the environment, but some we want to stay away from. That's what we always say about our snakes. And she's looking around. She's really good at digging. So sand boas can, but we always say you want to research your pet and research your pet and research. Because you know some people who should own a goldfish. So she has really cool scales.
Okay, so you remind you guys to stay on the other side of the blue lines for me.
She is not one I'm going to put on the floor to slither.
No. We don't want her digging in the carpet.
I know, that'd be a little hard for
She'll
her.
try to escape this carpet.
And she's very well fed. It's hard to get a snake to lose weight. She, at the zoo, eats mice.
Like big giant mice?
Little tiny mice. Little tiny mice. Yes. What's your question? Yeah.
How does it dig?
So she has this little nose that's kind of shovel shaped. So what she'll do is she'll take her nose and she'll kind of go like this. And she moves into the sand, and her scales are kind of designed to help her move easily through the sand. And her body's kind of like tube-shaped, kind of like a tube-shaped body, so it makes it easier to go through the sand. What's your question? Yeah, she gets fed. She's on a diet, so she only gets fed once a month.
Once a month?
Once a month.
What if you ate once a month?
So snakes, because they don't have to keep an internal heat going, because if you think about what temperature are we pretty much all the time unless we're sick? We're warm. We're like 98.6-ish all the time. So we have like an internal furnace that keeps going all the time. That's why we have to eat. Typically 3 times a day. Some of us growing, we eat more often. Like teenagers, all the time. Snakes don't have to keep an internal temperature. They get their temperature from the sun. So since they don't have an internal temperature, they don't have to eat as often. So she can get by with eating once a month.
What about the giant snakes at the zoo? Do they eat more often because they're giant?
They actually eat less often. The smaller snakes eat more often. Isn't that weird? That's kind of counterintuitive. You think the bigger the snake, the more it would eat. But actually, the bigger the snake, the less it eats. I know. It's weird. All right, what is your question? Oh, wait, hold on just a second. Can everybody look at my nose? Can everybody look at my nose? We're getting very talkative. So I'm going to get, if you have a story, I want you to hold your story. I'm going to let me get two questions, and I'm going to move on to our next animal. And then I'll have a chance to get our next animal. Okay, keep your hands straight. All right, what is your question? So, oh my gosh, you asked a question and I completely blanked on the answer. So, good question.
I'll look it up.
We'll look it up. Kenya and Sanbo, Kenya. Oh my gosh. They're in Kenya. And I think it's the Sarabi Desert. Sarabi Desert. So good question. Miss Alyssa will confirm that for us. We'll see. Tells you we don't always have the answers all the time.
Northern Africa, portions of Asia, almost Europe.
Excellent. Excellent.
In the desert fish.
Desert fish areas. All right, maybe get one more question.
When you feed the mice, do you let the mice run around and then capture it?
Okay, that is an excellent question. At the zoo, we don't feed them live mice. They're dead first. And the reason we do that is because we don't want them to learn to strike at movement. So when we put our hands in, we don't want them to think that it's food and strike at our hands. It's also safer for the snake, because if they're not hungry, then the mice might go, I'm going to snack on them. So look at her being all comfortable. I love these guys. They're awesome. All right, we're going to meet one more animal. All right, ready for our next animal? So we've met our sand boa. Can you get down? So this animal, some animals of this type of lizard, I give it away, can regrow their tail. Some of them don't.
There's lots of lizards, right?
There's lots of lizards.
Right?
Hi, Tiberius, you ready?
Let's see.
Hi. Hey, bud. Oh my God. This is Tiberius. He is a blue-tongued skink. So what color do you think his tongue is? Blue. You guys are so right. So Tiberius here is a type of skink. So I would say skink. Lots of K's in there. It's a skink. So some types of skink can lose their tail. He is not one of them. There's types of geckos that can lose their tail, and some types of skink that can lose their tail. But he is not one of them. He has a really cool tail. Look at that awesome tail. And he is a big boy. And he is awesome. And they are wonderful. So notice, does he have big legs or small legs? Small legs. And those small legs help him as he digs through kind of the forest floor, so he can get through it faster. Now, as he comes around, he might be sticking out his tongue, kind of figure out what's going on.
Remember, it's blue. What color is your tongue?
Red.
I don't know. Let me see.
Or stick your tongue.
She is a blue tongue.
No, it's not. They can see out.
Good job.
Yeah. Yeah, some zoos have it one way, but not at ours. Yeah. So Tiberius is, 2012, 9 years old. So he is 9 years old. And he is one that we're going to get to touch.
I'm so excited. So excited. It's my favorite animal.
He is one that we're going to get to touch. Oh, that would be awesome.
Right?
Yeah, but a hippopotamus would not fit through the door.
Correct.
Okay, let's see. What questions do you have about our skink? Those little bumps? Okay, so Here's the cool thing. It looks like little bumps, but it's not. It's his pattern. So he has kind of this cool camouflage pattern that helps him blend in. He is extremely, extremely smooth feeling, and you'll get to feel that when you get to touch him. He is super, super smooth. And he is okay, ready for your science word? Your $10 science word here? He's an omnivore. So what does that mean that he eats? I'm hearing all the correct answers when you throw it together. Oh, he eats everything. Oh, he eats everything. He probably would if it were raw. It would have to be raw hamburger. All right, what is your question? Okay, so he does primarily smell with his tongue. Can I get behind the blue line? So he does smell with his tongue. He also uses his tongue kind of as protection to scare things away. So what he'll do is something will scare him, and he will stick out his tongue and make it really flat and blue. Oh, go back, go back. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
So where can you find blue-tongue skink?
So blue-tongue skink can be found in different areas. Australia is a big one. They can also be found in Indonesia and Java, which is an island near Indonesia. So in Australia, they are highly protected because Australia is really protective of other animals. But yeah, they'll stick out their tongue and go, ah, and scare things away. Isn't that cool? Ah, scare things. What is your question?
Like, do they climb?
They can climb, but they're not excellent climbers because their legs are kind of short and stubby. They're kind of like, climb, climb, climb. Ah! They're not like chameleons that have those awesome grabby hands. They don't have little grabby hands. They're little tiny claws. What's your question?
Okay, we can't hear it, everybody. If you're not asking the question, be quiet, please. Thank you.
He is, I think he's almost full grown, and he is about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet. Oh, look at that plank. He's being a very good boy right now. What is your question?
When he breathes, it's kind of like a frog when it like.
Yeah, you can kind of see him kind of taking some deeper breaths right now. He's kind of very intensely looking at things. He's a very contemplative lizard today. Just looking around. Do you have a question? Oh! So I know some of you guys know that. Why does he have a hole in his head? What others? Why do you have a hole in your head? It's an ear. You guys are so right. So he would look funny if he had an ear like us, wouldn't he? Yeah, so he just has a hole on the side of his head. So those are his ears. Isn't that crazy? They kind of look like they're really red, but those are just his ears. Yep, and he does have a nose. He uses it kind of for breathing. You have a question? Oh, it's an axolotl, a kind of skink. So who thinks they might know the answer to that question? Oh, or we can guess it. So I want you to think about this. So here's our question. Is an axolotl, let's see. An axolotl is a type of salamander. Because some of us may not be familiar with an axolotl. An axolotl is a type of salamander. Is an axolotl a type of skink? Do a thumbs up if you think yes. A thumbs down if you think no. And do a thumb sideways if you're like, I don't have any sort of clue. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I'm going to tell you. No. There are two separate types of animal groups. Axolotls are amphibians. And skinks are lizards, a reptile. So even though they both can regrow things, it was good to make that connection about regrowing. They're in two separate animal groups. But it was a good connection, though. All right, let me get one more question before we get to meet our animals. I am not going to put him down because little tiny claws will stick on the carpet. Little tiny claws stick on the carpet. All right. Are you guys ready to meet some animals? Okay, so we are going to meet the lizard. my armadillo has decided, yeah, she is like, I'm done. She's napping, so she's going to stay in here. But we're going to meet our lizard, so this is the one we're going to be able to touch. And we're going to look at our sand boa, who might decide to dig and might not, but right now she's just kind of peeking out, and you get to see her cute little face. So, Miss Alyssa is going to show you the proper way to touch our lizard. Ready?
Okay, ready? How many fingers am I holding up? 2.
Right on the back.
Just the back and not anywhere close to the head.
Animals don't like their head being touched.
Right?
Do you like your head being touched by people you don't know? No. Animals don't like it either.
Okay, so 2 fingers, let me see them.
And you
Just
touch
the back.
just the back.
Just the back. And then once you touch, you're going to get some hand sanitizer. Okay? Got it?
All right.
Before you touch anything else. I'm going to do it right now.
Okay,
So, here's what we need to do. We are going to make a line. Alright, and then we're going to kind of go this way, and we're going to get hand sanitizer over there, and then thank you very much for coming. I do have a wonderful little giveaway for you guys if you want, but that will be outside when you're done. So you may have already gotten one, but I have so many. We're giving them all away. So, alright, I need a line that's going to start right here.
everybody will get a chance to touch.
Everybody
So,
gets a chance to touch. So you want to stand up? Touch.
and we're gonna go whoop 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 whoop.
Yes, right here. You are the end of the line. Will the TV still be on in the outside?
Oh, go right over that way.
All right, so, in the line. Guys, or if you want to hang out a second, and then make the line go down a little bit. All right.
He really is.
All right, so you can look
Good job. Okay, what did you want to tell me?
So you're telling me that baby snakes would probably eat like every second.
Baby